shock that they were just learning this history, and a wish that they had learned it in school. It all pushed me to move out of my comfort zone of writing narrative histories for adults and to work with several remarkable creators on adaptations. Jason Reynolds remixed the book for teens and stamped racism, anti-racism, and you. Sonia Cherry Paul remixed the remix for younger children and stamped for kids, with Rochelle Baker supplying the art. Cartoonist Joel Christian Gill created a graphic novel edition of Stamped from the Beginning. Filmmakers Roger Ross Williams, Elisa Payne, and Mara Brock Akil adapted the book onto the big screen for Netflix. All these adaptations met the people where they are, because anti-Black racist ideas are constantly meeting people where they are. And young and old people need to identify these harmful ideas so they can protect their minds from them, so they can join in the anti-racist struggle to construct a just and habitable society for us all. I hoped we were on the way to building an anti-racist society, but the unprecedented wave of anti-racist demonstrations in 2020 did not result in a successful revolution against racism in the United States. If anything, Americans and American institutions faced a counter-revolution to uproot the budding anti-racism, a counter-revolution of contradictions and absurdities. Police violence against people demonstrating against police violence. Republicans and Democrats raging against transferring funding from the highest combined police budget in the world to one of the lowest combined public education budgets in the wealthy world. Attacks on voters of color by people claiming that elections were stolen from them. Invasions of Capitol buildings and terrorist attacks on Americans by self-identified patriots. Forcing births and the end to child tax credits by the self-identified Parents' Rights Party. Efforts to cancel women's marches, Black Lives Matter, wokeism, the 1619 Project, marriage equality, critical race theory, trans kids, and anti-racist and queer books by critics of cancel culture. Reframing anti-racist as anti-white, as white supremacists did during their massive resistance to anti-racist policies in the 1860s and 1960s. This second edition of Stamped from the Beginning, with updated terminology and concepts, with the removal of ableist and carceral language, with a painstakingly thorough fact check, and with a gargantuan note section, arrived in a historical period distinct from the original edition. In both 2016 and 2023, and throughout history, the conservators of racism have consistently and absurdly evoked some derivation of, "I'm not racist." You are the racist. Enslavers called abolitionists vicious. Lynchers called the lynched barbaric. Segregationists called civil rights activists tyrannical. Ferguson police officer Darren Wilson said Michael Brown looked like a demon. To be racist is not just to deny. To be racist is to project. Historical conditions often shape the emphasis. Racism on the offensive, denials. Racism on the defensive, projections. All the while, those denying, those projecting, refuse to define their ideas as racist. In fact, they refuse to define the term racist in any coherent and consistent way. And it has been that way since the beginning. Thus, the subtitle of this book is The Definitive History of Racist Ideas in America, which is not to claim that this book is the most authoritative piece of scholarship on the subject. It is to say that this book serves to define racist and anti-racist ideas through revealing their history from their birth in the 15th century to their maturity in the 21st century. An understanding of the life story of a phenomenon is necessary to accurately define a phenomenon. Not just define, Stamped from the Beginning reckons with the